Well, I feel like I should take my shoes off and pants off.
Get comfortable. I don't know what you need to do, but keep it reasonable is all I ask.
Well, whenever I enter a house, I take my shoes off. So it feels like a home in here.
Oh,
Good.
nice.
Good
Oh my gosh, that's so cute, Kathy. Hi. I love that you owled that. That's so good. Welcome to In the Act, a radio program on process and the creative life. Creativity does not just start and stop with artists. We all make aesthetic or guiding decisions. Our aim is to talk through the process and investigate how we choose to express ourselves and live creatively. We are connecting with people about their lives, and that's the subject of our show. Broadcasting from Mead Public Library in Sheboygan, Wisconsin on Mead Community Radio, I am Erica Hunsinger, and this is In the Act. And today on In the Act, our guest is Kathy Alby.
Thank you.
Yay. So Kathy, you're ubiquitous in this town. You're like, if you go out, I swear I see you almost all the time riding your bike with your trailer.
My office.
Your office, yeah. You're always so genuinely lovely to see and to
Aww.
be around, and you're always talking up creative experiences, events, being true to yourself, and I don't know, there's a joyousness that effervescences off of you, which is pretty remarkable.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so I thank you for being on the show, because I was hoping that you would talk a little bit about yourself.
About myself.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I kind of had a vague idea I was going to be talking about myself, and and my whole, I think, life's purpose is to reduce the ego mind.
Yeah.
And, like resurrect the soul. And so it might be a little difficult for me, but I'll get through it as long as there's laughter. And, I can also talk a lot about some of the crazy experiences I've been through.
Totally. Yeah.
So,
whatever you're comfortable with. And,
Okay.
I appreciate that because I think sharing our stories provides inspiration for other people too, right? And
yeah,
I feel inspired by you.
Thank you.
And I love the message of that. And can we like back up and you can talk a little
Sure.
bit about like what your life has looked like, how you made like these decisions, like how did you get to the spot of like wanting to move towards your soul? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what does that journey look like for you?
Okay. Well, I, at a young age, as soon as I could, I wanted to start traveling and exploring. So like at the age of 15 or 16, I decided to start hitchhiking.
Wow.
And so I went,
And you're from here, right? You're from Sheboygan?
Yeah, I've been here a long time.
Yeah, okay.
So I'd take off, go to northern Michigan, go hang out in the wild, sometimes with another person, sometimes with a dog,
Cool.
sometimes by myself, and just venture about and just feel what it's like to live without worldly belongings.
Yeah.
And so I did a lot of that on my own for a while, and then
How was that for you?
oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved venturing about. I ended up in a place called Paradise up in northern Michigan. I liked the harmonica because it was something you could carry with you.
Oh, sure.
A real light instrument. So I learned to play that on the road.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I just loved camping, and I did a lot of that. And around the same time, I started practicing yoga.
Okay.
So I looked for a spiritual mentor and found Marge Fisher, who is no longer with us, but she was amazing. And she taught in her house, and I must have been with her for over 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So whenever I was in town, I'd be with her.
She was in town in Sheboygan.
Yeah. And I
Okay.
think she was the only yoga teacher in Sheboygan.
Wow.
So,
And what years was that then? Was that like?
that was like 1970s.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So, right out of high school, I started getting into natural foods quite a bit. I think in high school I did. And there was no place to go here.
Sure.
So I hitchhiked to Milwaukee, and I went to the Outpost, which was just like the corner Goodside Grocery at that time. It was that big.
Wow.
And so I went there and, came back several times with a backpack full of goods. And I thought to myself, man, you know what? I could start something here. So this was in like 1979, I think.
Oh my gosh.
So with the help of my dad, he helped finance. We found a place on 15th Street in John Court, and it was kind of run down. I think it was an auto shop or something before I purchased it.
Yeah.
But I got it for $100 a month.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember getting one of those floor, what are they called? Sanders?
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And there was so much gunk on the floor, I had to go over it like 50 times.
Oh my gosh.
But it was a nice hardwood floor. And it was just a really small little space. So it didn't take a lot of work to get it ready, but I remember the ceiling was full of cracks, and I caulked every crack in that ceiling.
Oh my gosh.
I think with my fingers.
Yeah. Wow.
So I got it done with the help of a friend or two, and opened the store in 1979, I think it was. And it was in December, so it was like right after Christmas. And I think I had one customer.
Wow.
One.
The first day, you mean?
Yeah, the first day we opened, because, advertising wasn't like it is today.
Yeah.
And it was just word of mouth, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger. I mean, more stuff. It was packed.
Wow. I mean, that takes vision to start that and passion to do that, to bring it alive. I mean, that's an endeavor.
Called, Simply Nature is what it was called.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I started with like 5 barrels on the floor. I mean, there wasn't hardly anything in the beginning. It was dried fruits and nuts.
Yeah.
And it eventually built up, so I had everything in that store that, Goodside has, plus probably quite a bit more.
Yeah.
I had like my passion was with medicinal herbs.
Oh.
And so I had like one of the walls lined with about 300 or 400 different herbs
Oh my gosh.
in the jars, the
Yeah.
gallon jars. And I got so much information from the customers that came.
Oh.
Like they helped me to figure out what to buy, and, what they wanted.
Right.
And so I learned a lot about, how they treated themselves medicinally and,
right.
what herbs they use. And so, I kept purchasing more and more and more and more and more. And I think to this day, I might even have some of that stuff.
Oh my gosh.
I ended up composting a lot of it. But I do have a few items that last forever.
Wow. Like honey. Honey seems to last forever.
Yeah, it does. But I would have used that up in a jiff.
Right.
So, no, like some of the roots, some of the medicinal roots, burdock, and I think I have some green clay too from there.
Wow.
But so that
I love that. I love the vision and I wish I could. I feel like I'm kind of stepping back in time with you. I'm like walking into your space. I watched it getting cleaned and sanded, and now I'm looking at this wall of 500 ingredients in these bell jars, of gallon bell jars. So how long did that?
How long did it last?
Did you send your energy in there?
Oh man, I was working like 24/7. It was
I
like
bet you were.
so much work, and I was getting kind of burnt out after probably 4 years or so.
And this was directly after college or after high school too?
Well, a couple years.
Yeah.
I did a lot of traveling in between there.
Good.
So I got so stressed. I mean, I felt like I was going to break down.
Yeah.
And so then I invited people in, like some family members.
Yeah.
And my mother. And my mother was probably 50-something. But she was so essential to that place.
Yeah. How so?
Because everybody loved her. And to this day, people say, oh, your mom's shop.
Oh.
And, she had passed away quite a while ago, but I believe she really loved it. And, just people came just to see her. Wow. And so eventually, after, it became stable enough for me to take off again.
Yeah.
I did. And I actually met my first husband there. And we ended up traveling down to Texas because my sister lived there. So we stayed with her for a while, purchased a small vehicle when we had enough money. And like the week later, there was a head-on collision. I got hit by a drunk driver.
Oh my gosh, Kathy.
And so that was the end of that car. That was the first car that we ever had.
Wow.
Or that I ever owned.
Well, that's a terrifying experience.
So it was a small, like Toyota or something. But so I was kind of out for quite a while. I couldn't walk. I couldn't, my ribs were crushed. I couldn't really breathe very well.
So you were really injured.
Oh, yeah. I was in a coma for a while.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So, and my husband, we weren't married yet, but he was in the driver's seat and he wasn't hurt.
Wow.
So, we stayed and I healed, and this was in Fort Worth. And then I decided, okay, it's time to move on. So when I was ready, we hitchhiked down to Austin.
Wow.
And
That's
Austin
birth.
was where it was happening. So I was like, thank God,
Yeah.
I actually lived on the streets for like about probably a year or something.
Wow.
And we sold flowers on the street corners.
Wow.
And I did have a dog at the time, and he would help. She would help. She would hold him in her mouth. And, that's the way the people would come. Oh, she was even on the front page of the paper.
Wow. And what was
And,
that experience like for you?
Oh, it was fun. It was kind of crazy sometime because you would get the flowers. They would drop you off on the street corner and leave you there for the whole day.
Oh, so you were connected to another.
Yeah, to a company that would hire people to go out there and sell flowers.
Oh, okay.
In
Interesting.
buckets.
Yeah.
And some of the flowers were so bad. They were wilted, and I felt so bad selling these flowers sometime. But, it would be, a husband, maybe it was his wife's birthday, and he had to get flowers right away. So
It worked out in passing.
So anyhow, on just a regular day, a lot of, you wouldn't really make that much money doing this.
Yeah.
But on a holiday, you would make enough money to live off of for a long time. So on like Mother's Day, we made enough money to buy another vehicle.
Wow.
And we bought this huge tank of a vehicle that was, I think it was 55 Chrysler, and we lived in it.
Wow. I bet you bought a tank, considering.
Yeah, I didn't want to get hit again.
No.
But before that car, we were living in abandoned houses all over town.
Wow.
And it was easy back then. I mean, now you wouldn't be able to do that. But there was so many abandoned houses, and you could get in there and you could stay there for a month, and nobody would say anything.
Yeah.
So we stayed in several, but the craziest experience with that was we would go out for the day and sell our flowers and come back. And one day we came back, and the house we were staying in disappeared. It was up and gone.
Wow. It was raised or it was moved?
No, they moved it. It was like, oh, shit. Oh. But thank God we didn't leave anything in the house, because you couldn't. I mean, if you leave anything anywhere, it would get stolen.
Right.
So the only thing we had was what we were able to carry on our backs. So,
right.
Yeah, that was a funny experience.
Right. Welcome back to In the Act. I'm Erica Hunsinger. We're here with Kathy Alby, and talking about your early adulthood experiences of like the passion for traveling and whole foods and good foods and natural products and owning a shop, and then going to Texas and having a really traumatic experience, and then going to Austin and selling flowers. And after healing. And so after Austin, what do you think your trajectory, what was the impulse to go, or what was your next?
Okay, let's see.
Because it's all propelling towards this, like,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, I ended up having my first child after coming back to Sheboygan. And she's 40 now, I guess.
Wow, yeah.
Lives up in Alaska. She's got 4 kids also.
Oh my gosh.
And so with her, we had more ventures. We decided to go out west. So my husband's brother lived out in Oregon. So we went to Eugene. We stayed in Eugene for a while and worked for the Forest Service.
Yeah.
Actually, that's what Jim did. I stayed back with Liana in Eugene, which was wonderful because we lived right along the bike path, but I didn't have a bike.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
I just walked the bike path. And,
Yeah.
We'd just basically live in the moment.
Right.
And so he worked for the Forest Service, and then one day he said, "We're gonna work a fire lookout." So I went with him, and we moved to Northern California, and we worked a fire lookout.
What does that
which was
mean?
amazing. We lived on top of a mountain. It was 12,000 feet up.
12,000.
It was Mount Lassen, not too far from Mount Shasta.
Okay, I'm not familiar.
And yeah, way up there, it was an experience. My whole life seems to be an experience of unattachment. So, like, when we lived up there, I'm a pretty social person, but
Yeah.
I had to learn how not to be because there was nobody there. And we couldn't really go anywhere because we had to stay up there on top of the mountain to watch for fires.
And was there like a cabin that you were in?
It was just a tiny little, actually we lived in 2 fire lookouts. The first one was on a cliff and it wasn't as high, but there was 100 steps going up.
Wow.
And Liana was like, she might have been like 2 years old. She just learned how to walk.
Oh my gosh.
And so one day she was gone. It was like, oh my gosh. I was down below and so was Jim, and she was gone. And then I looked up and she was all the way up. She climbed all the way up by herself.
Wow.
And she had the biggest smile on her face. So I just couldn't, I couldn't say anything. I couldn't scream or anything because she, could have fell.
Right.
But
terrifying.
Yeah, that was something. But we watched for fires at that place for about a month until we could go to the higher elevation for another 3 months.
Wow.
Because there was snow up top, so that all had to be melted before we could go up there. And this was in summer,
Wow.
So anyhow, we had to supply all of our food and all of our water. So I bought 25-pound bags of beans and rice and just, whatever you could live off of for 3 months.
Oh my gosh.
And the Forest Service did not pay us for about a month, or maybe even 2 months, because we ended up living off of pinto beans. And just pinto beans, nothing else, for a long time. What seemed to be a long time.
Yeah.
So
That's so hard.
I know,
Oh my
it's like
gosh.
nothing to look forward to. I mean, and
talking about an edit of like space, place, people, then down to the food. I mean, air, oxygen. You're editing oxygen at that level too. Wow.
I was a vegetarian at the time, and my husband, he actually picked up a roadkill on the way up the mountain one day. We could leave after like 6 or 7 for a couple hours, and go back. So anyhow, he got a roadkill, and I didn't even eat it.
Wow.
That's how fanatic, I guess, I was as a vegetarian.
Yeah.
But I did make potato.
That's
pinto.
the essence of being a vegetarian is like, you're not going to eat meat. Just it's not really fanatic. It's just the definition of it, Kathy. You got it. You were just following.
Well, now I'm a freegan. I'll eat anything.
You're a what?
Anything free.
Oh, free. Nice.
Freegan.
Yep. That's great.
But the dog and Jim ate the venison and enjoyed it, I'm sure. And I probably would have if but we went down the mountain to see if there was a little store at the bottom of the mountain, and to see if we could get some salt or maybe some flour, IOU, but because I wanted to make pinto bean pancakes or something,
right.
So I did.
Cool.
And it actually tasted pretty good.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. So with these really extreme experiences, I mean, from life and death to hitchhiking and traveling, you're all over the country now. You've been to Michigan, Texas, California, Oregon. I'm sure probably other places in the middle because you're hitchhiking, right?
Oh yeah.
So, and then are you keeping up with doing yoga through this time as well?
Oh man, if it wasn't for yoga, yeah, I did so much yoga living in that lookout. There wasn't a hell of a lot to do.
Right.
No television,
No.
Just watching for fires. It was beautiful. We saw rainbows from beginning to end.
Wow.
We lived, one of the weirdest experiences was living in a cloud for days. We would, you could not see 2 feet in front of you. We lived in this cloud. And that was the most bizarre experience.
Wow. All the time? It was like that most of the time?
No, it wasn't. No, it was mostly clear.
Yeah.
It was, sunny California.
Oh, right.
But
okay.
This cloud lingered for probably about 3 or 4 days.
Wow.
So that was unique.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's tons of unique experiences of the natural world that filtered into you from that experience.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So that, that lasted for about 5 months up there in the lookout. And then we came back to Wisconsin.
It's your touchstone.
Yeah. So
I get it. It's a vortex. Sheboygan is a vortex. You can leave, but you're going to come back. It just happens. Sorry. Yeah.
So the store was still operating, but it was much different. I didn't really have much to do with it anymore. Let's see. My mother, she got ill and she had passed away. And I got pregnant. So that was with my second child, Amy. And I always think maybe she was a reincarnation of my mother.
Oh,
because it was kind of around that time frame,
Yeah. She's great.
Yeah. So then, well, let's see. We stuck around here for a while, and then I got divorced.
Yeah.
There was just a soap opera of stuff happening. And
As it does, right?
Yeah.
Like we change and things happen. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's all good. And then I was single with the 2 kids because my husband decided to head out west again, and he moved to Alaska. And and then the kids, I had full custody, but the kids my oldest daughter wanted to see him.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay. So at a super young age, like maybe 8 or something, she went out west. She went by herself.
Wow.
On the plane. They have people that'll help out.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But that was a struggle. That was hard,
I bet.
like this separation anxiety thing.
Absolutely.
And then when they both left, see, I actually met Craig, my second husband, when Amy was about 1.
Yeah. And
he's just a wonderful, wonderful father.
that's awesome.
And so Amy, let's see, my thought process just kind of disappeared.
That's okay. That's all right. I mean, this is, I think it happens a lot when we're talking about like process and when we're talking about how things went during struggles and during when you have to be like your most creative about trying to figure out how to put things together is when I think there's so many things going on in our thoughts and feelings that attach to things that I think it's hard to get a linear story out. And it's okay because we're not linear, as you know, right? Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, welcome back. I'm Erica Hunsinger. This is In the Act, and we are here with the amazing Kathy Alby. How are you, Kathy? So, you were just talking about like a pretty substantial shift in familial relationships and how your immediate structure changed and
Yeah, and then all of a sudden I couldn't even remember what I was talking about. But
That's
I
okay.
do now.
yeah.
So when Amy and Liana left, I remember at the airport, my husband, Craig, had to get a wheelchair to wheel me out. Everything just froze. I couldn't believe it. And I
What do
remember
you
my
mean
yoga
like your
teacher
body froze
from here down.
from
yeah.
your waist down?
Yeah. Cramped up. I couldn't move.
Wow.
And I remember my yoga teacher saying something like that. She said, yeah, when my first son had left, I got these huge cramps in my body. And it happened. And I was like, whoa, that's a real thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Manifestations in like of feeling states and stuff, like integrating it or finding its way into your physical form, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, eventually I got kind of used to them, being away and coming back, being away, separation. And then it's like a dance,
Sure.
So, and
how do you do that dance?
Well,
Because I think those are the sticky times.
Unattachment.
With unattachment. Okay.
Yeah. And there's a saying, the greatest form of unattachment is love, something like that.
Yeah.
Love is when you're unattached. So anyhow, I became attached again because, I met Craig and we got married and we had 2 more lovely children.
Yeah, totally.
Sequoia and Juniper, and we did a lot of venturing. We'd go to the rainbow gatherings every summer. So I really loved community.
Yeah.
Getting people together. And after going to some of these gatherings, it's like, whoa, we can do that here.
And what kind of gatherings inspired you? What can you name a couple?
Well, there's a gathering in Southwest Wisconsin. It was the PSG. It was a spirit gathering.
Okay.
And it was wonderful. And it opened my mind to a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I brought my children. It was very family orientated.
Yeah.
And it was the same with the rainbow gatherings all over the United States.
Okay. I don't know those.
So, wonderful gatherings. And whatever you're looking for, you'll find. There's so many people there, people of all different belief systems. It's a free gathering. There's like there could be up to 50 soup kitchens there.
Wow.
That's how big it is. Thousands of people gather.
Okay.
They build a utopian society in a matter of a month.
Wow.
And you can stay there for a month if you want.
Okay.
We always stayed for 2 weeks. Well, after experiencing a lot of that, I thought, man, we need to have that in Sheboygan. So I started Earth Fest.
Awesome.
And Earth Fest evolved over the years to become so big and grand that I just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I think it was 25 years that I had ran that without a committee, just people helping out.
And what did it look like? What was involved with Earth Fest?
Well, it was music. It was all kinds of vendors galore. There was hula hoopers, dancers. We had veggie burgers, before veggie burgers became popular.
Awesome. Yeah.
In the beginning, we started as a small little party, but it just kept getting bigger and bigger. And, instead of me calling people would call me. And most of the musicians would play for free. But, I wanted to get some of the bigger names, like Unity. And so I paid them, but probably nothing compared to what they would normally get, but they loved to come. And my daughter Sequoia was playing music at that time.
Oh, what a voice.
She played, yeah, that was a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
well, what a gift. I mean, that's a long time. What a gift to have that energy. I mean, I went to Earth Fest a few times too.
Well, I hope so.
Well, yeah, right. But it was once a year, and
and it got to be from like 1 day to 2 days to even 3.
Yeah.
Friday night, actually, and Saturday and Sunday.
And what do you think what were you hoping it would do for the community? What do you think it was for you?
Well, for me, it was bringing together community and mostly of like mind.
Yeah.
Once in a while, there'd be somebody coming through there with signs like, "You're gonna burn in hell," because
why?
Because I mean, some of these people thought we were worshiping things other than what they were worshiping.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then Craig had said, well, why don't you just set up a booth?
Nice. So funny.
It only costs like $20,
That's so great. Yeah.
But they disappeared. They never came back.
Well, I mean, that's such a lovely part of the community. And it hasn't been going on for a few years now, right?
Yeah, I had given it to a friend who did a wonderful job for a couple of years. And then she had, she said it was too much. She couldn't do it. So she stopped, and then a committee formed, and that committee could never get anything together.
Committees are tough. It's tough.
And so it really hasn't happened since.
Yeah.
I mean, we had drum circles there.
Yeah.
And, people never forget that.
No.
Yeah. Kids would be on there banging drums, and it was wonderful. And we actually had drum circles every month, probably throughout that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, bringing community together. And
in a lot of ways, I mean, so from using that like as sort of there was so much energy and time and stuff that went into Earth Fest, and love and joy and community. And from that, then it seems like you've taken, I don't know if it's from that, but through your experiences, you have other pieces that you've developed, though, that share the same sort of touch points of community, sharing, joy, expression.
Yeah, I do. Right now I'm teaching again at Uptown.
Okay. Uptown Social?
Yeah.
Social Club?
Uptown Social, yeah.
Or Uptown Social, yeah.
Yeah. I was teaching all along there for probably 20 or so years over at the Yoga Loft.
Right.
And then also having a few drummings. So
you're teaching yoga there?
Teaching yoga, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And, and then they closed their doors, and for 2 years, I wasn't teaching, and I felt really weird, kind of like something was missing. So I'm really glad that Uptown opened their doors, and I teach there, and also now do the ecstatic dance and the laughter yoga. They're so open to all of that.
That's awesome.
And any age can come.
Yeah.
So it's intergenerational.
I'm
It's
gonna have to
not.
come.
A lot of people think that only the old people are there, but no.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's great. So things are, community is coming back again for me in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And I was
beautiful.
just asked yesterday to do a drum circle out at the Christopher Gardens.
Oh, fun.
So it's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah. What are those where did the drum circles come from?
I think probably I was inspired from the spirit gatherings down in southwest Wisconsin
Gotcha.
that we
okay.
went to when, the kids, I think, I don't even think Juniper was born yet. No, Sequoia went when she was like 2 years old. So that
Yeah.
was quite a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we started bringing the drums to Sheboygan.
I love it.
And, the people of Sheboygan weren't really ready for that. So I had to keep it kind of underground
Interesting.
and rent spaces. And yeah.
How do you think that because the whole talk that we've had this morning is about like bringing things from the outside of Sheboygan to Sheboygan, like back to your home base. Like, hey, I went out and found these great things. Why don't we try them out here? What do you think about making it more of a community? How about more free expression? Like, how about And when you started the conversation about like reuse and community and connection, like, and bringing the soul in, that seems like that's all part of the schmear of it.
Yeah, it is. I've always looked for spiritual mentors throughout my life, and I did find them. I found first Marge, and then some friends of mine. I worked at Lighthouse Therapy for a while.
Cool.
And they were amazing teachers. And and then I found a path. The path is always within, of course. But
Nice.
I found a teacher, lives in California, so I don't see him, but I've been with him for over 25 years.
Wow.
And he just teaches love. It's basically about love, and it's about a love that is beyond emotional love. It's called bhakti. You're probably familiar with the bhakti.
I'm not.
Oh,
Will you tell me about it?
It's a type of yoga. It's bhakti yoga.
Okay.
So, actually, the path I'm on, I think could be called Surat Bhakti Yoga. It's Surat, it means soul, and Bhakti means love. So, soul, love, yoga.
Cool.
And it is all about connecting to that source within us every day. And so that's why I couldn't come here earlier, because I have to do that.
And what did you have to do?
I just sit and I listen to my teacher, basically, and contemplate and raise my energy inward and upward.
And how do you do that?
Through experience.
Yeah. So is it like sort of like meditation and breath and being conscious of your thoughts or letting them go, or? Yeah,
mainly bringing the mind into focus.
How that's it's such a hard. I'm not laughing at you. I'm like, how do you bring the mind into focus? I'm sorry. Like what? I think part of this is teaching others too and having them be aware of it. So what are some of the tools that you use to do that?
So there's Simran, and that means like I have this internal chant. Okay.
Yeah.
Simran means bringing the mind into focus.
Gotcha.
And so there's just a few syllables that I repeat, and just repeat until I find that, I feel clear. I feel better.
Right.
I'm starting to feel a little more expanded.
And is that an internal? Do you actually speak it, or do you do it inside?
Sometimes I say it out loud. Sometimes I say it to myself. It doesn't matter. Because
chanting has been, and mantras, that's worldwide, cross cultures, cross religious experiences, through everything, is that helps to sort of center and allows that the sound energy to go through your body too. And sound is so important to you.
Yeah.
That spiritual practice, I don't know if I'm putting that on you, spiritual practice.
No, actually, it is called the divine science of light and sound is the practice. So it kind of goes beyond worldly matters goes beyond form into formlessness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you raise your energy up enough that you can go beyond the emotions, you can go beyond the mind, and you can go beyond the body. And what's left? Nothing but love.
Wow.
Nothing. It's a beautiful feeling, and I can't say that I get there every day.
Yeah.
But at least I attempt to.
And what more is there than that? I agree with you. The basis of everything is love.
Yeah. And that Rumi saying, let the love that you are be what you do.
Wow.
So I think about that every now and again, and everything that I did. Why did I do it?
Yeah.
And it all goes back to love.
Yeah. Right.
So, that's why I couldn't get here any sooner.
You're here right when you're supposed to be. You're perfect. If you were to, as you're sharing and teaching, as you do, is there anything that you'd like to share or recommend? That's a really dumb word. Recommend isn't really a good word. That's like if you're getting a book or something. But you know what I mean? Like if you wanted to share something to people who are listening.
Well, I think just like what I had said, about let the love that you are be what you do.
Yeah.
And laugh. Laugh a lot.
Yeah.
And you're good at it.
I'm good at it. I really love people, and I really like seeing you. And I always do laugh pretty much when I see you. So.
Oh, you do.
I do. Yeah.
So I started up this laughter yoga, and people are thinking it's doing postures and stuff, but it's not. It's laughing, and laughing for a good hour is so healing. And you don't really have to be truly laughing. You can be fake laughing and still receive the benefits of laughter.
Okay.
It helps with your dopamine levels, your endorphins, and it just makes you feel good.
That's amazing. I'm not 100% on board with the laughter yoga.
I know. Well,
I think we've had
You told me
conversations
that.
about yeah.
But you're doing
But I love that we get I know. Because I'm really torn about like if we're being genuine with our feelings and genuine, like I get like I double down. I'm like, no, I don't think anything's funny right now. I'm not laughing, you know? And I get like that, like rebellious about like not laughing then because I don't feel like I'm laughing, you know? But to know that, tell me.
Well, there was a woman there the other day who said, I really don't have anything to be laughing about. And that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, because you can just fake it. And sometimes it gets to be so silly and stupid that you have to laugh.
Right.
Because, you know, it's just, it's very childlike too. It's about playing like a child.
Yeah. Right.
And what child doesn't laugh? I mean, several times a day.
Right. Or should.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I am firmly in the belief that you have to experiment, play for creativity and that helps you explore other things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Through love. Yeah. Climbing that 100-step ladder. Yeah. Yeah.
I just thought of that song. I love to laugh.
I don't know that one.
That was on Mary Poppins.
I just saw that in the last 5 years. So
He was up on the ceiling. Floating.
Oh, the floating. Is that what that was from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to see that again.
Yeah. Me too. I had to get sad to come down. Wow. Isn't that a metaphor? Yeah, we should definitely all watch Mary Poppins again. Well, thank you so much, Kathy, for being here and sharing your story, your vulnerabilities and your difficulties, your challenges, and how you persevered and what choices that you made to reconnect back to yourself and always coming back to that place of love to kind of lead you. And we're all the richer for it. And thank you for sharing your creative life with us.
Oh, thank you so much, Erica.
And if people wanted to get a hold of you, is there a way that they can find you or tune in? I guess the yoga classes at
Uptown. Yeah,
at
riding
Uptown.
my bike down the street. Getting a new electric bike. I have a new electric bike.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great. So wave to you and track you down that way.
Yeah.
All right.
It just happened on my way here. Megan stopped me on the street.
Awesome. Yay, Megan Lover. That's great. Well, thank you so much, Kathy.
You're welcome. Thank you, too.
Huge thanks to Mead Public Library, the fantastic Melissa Prentice, Josh Littner, Annalisa Finca, the radio committee, our amazing engineer John Tully, and for the title, Photo and Fabulous, theme music composed and performed by Cooper Deers.
In the Act is produced in the studios at Mead Public Library in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. More information on the web at meadpl.org.